Undertail exhaust looks seriously cool, from exotic bikes such as the Ducati 916 and MV Agusta F4 to super sports like the Triumph Daytona 675 and the CBR600RR. Undertail exhausts are a statement. They are exotic looking and make the bike look faster and more serious. Some MotoGP bikes use Undertail exhausts, and some of the fastest bikes of all time use them as well. But they are all going away and never to return again. It may seem unfortunate, but there are several really good reasons why Undertail exhausts are going extinct, and the first reason is weight. It may seem obvious at first that an Undertail exhaust weighs more than a traditional exhaust, but that isn't the main reason why weight is an issue. The main reason is where the extra weight is located on the bike. Having more weight higher up on the bike makes it more difficult for the bike to lean over. Also, sport bikes need most of their weight over the front tire to allow for max acceleration without lifting the front wheel. An Undertail exhaust puts weight in arguably the worst spot on a bike, up high and far back. Not only was the exhaust heavier, but it robbed more power as well. Having the exhaust gases travel further through more bends and curves, which results in a loss of power. Now, the performance losses are negligible. The average rider will never notice the power difference of an Undertail exhaust versus a standard exhaust. Also, the extra weight probably won't make much of a difference for most of us either, but there are some things that make a huge difference, and the first one is trunk space. Admittedly, storage on most motorcycles is pretty bad. However, pretty bad doesn't even begin to describe the storage space on a motorcycle with an Undertail exhaust. My CBR600RR just barely fits my registration and power commander. Also, my VFR has no trunk at all, just a tiny bit of room underneath the seat for a basic tool bag. It's safe to say that you could fit much more things inside of a trunk of a newer Fireblade or older F4i or 929. Bikes without an Undertail exhaust. Now, it's not just loss of storage, but there's also a concern of heat. The exhaust goes right underneath your seat, and believe me, on a hot day you feel it. I will admit that on my CBR the heat isn't a real problem and I hardly notice it, but boy do I notice it on my VFR. I guess some bikes just manage it better than others, or maybe it's just the aftermarket exhaust systems I have. Either way, the hottest part of your motorcycle is inches away from your butt, and that just sucks on a 90-degree day. And before you ask, no, it doesn't help on a cold day. For some reason, when it's cold outside, the heat from the exhaust disappears before it even reaches you. Also, Undertail exhausts are more expensive to make and more difficult to remove and install. This will affect most of us who like modifying our bikes, because a slip-on for an Undertail is much more expensive than a standard exhaust, and the install is a bit more time consuming and involved. It's abundantly clear that the Undertail exhausts have their faults and are definitely going away, and that's why you no longer see the Undertail exhausts on the VFR 800 or the R1 or the Fireblade or the Daytona 675R. The new Ducatis all abandoned it as well. The only bikes that I can think of that still have it are the CBR600RR and the MV Agusta F4, and you better believe that if Honda ever redesigns their CBR600RR that they will certainly go back to a traditional mounted exhaust. And MV Agusta probably leaves theirs on because they value aesthetics over practicality and performance. Anyway guys, now you know why Undertail exhausts are a dying breed. Thank you for watching.